Hi everyone, I'm Tyler Verhoff and I will be talking to you today about understanding my community. We're going to be looking at Miami-Dade County Public Schools, my home district, and Palm Springs North Elementary, my home elementary school. Customs and traditions. Living in the city of Miami is different than living in the rest of the U.S. It's kind of like living in a different country. It has rich history. Population didn't start going up in Miami until 1940, where a farmer developed Miami Beach, and there were a bunch of orange groves off the coast of Florida, and he developed that within that decade and advertised in New York City billboards of a life in Miami, and he happened to get the right clientele to buy property, and it just kind of snowballed from there. As the 1950s went along, another 100,000 people came to Miami because of its beautiful beaches. And then in 1950, when the air conditioning was invented, a lot more people flocked to the area. And also in 1960, Fidel Castro's regime kind of blew up Cuba, and a lot of Cubans swam over here and got over here any way they could, and that kind of makes up the bulk of our population. The arts are a huge part of Miami culture and the school's culture. We have over 10 art museums around the city, and we have 5 art schools, so it's huge in kind of prospering in the city. Kind of going down to the biggest tradition in the district is the Superintendent 5K. It makes the most money for our most neediest families. Last year we raised up to $1 million for all of those families who needed the help, and all schools are represented from all around the district, and I'll talk more about that later. In terms of my school's custom and traditions, Turkey Bowl is the biggest elementary tradition we have at Palm Springs North. Half the school is divided from red to blue, red representing math, blue representing reading, and for 2 months I'm one of the coaches. There's me to the right with my other coach. We are looking and coaching these young 5th grade boys as they kind of grow up in their last year here, and it's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and they kind of have this big football game, and the community comes out and celebrates, and alumni come, and it's just an amazing event. Family Carnival Night is another tradition we have. It's after state testing takes place. All the students are stressed out, so it's a nice reward for them after to be able to come with their family to Carnival Night. And graduation is a huge tradition where everyone in the family comes to, we have big families, and everyone comes to the graduation. It's such a big deal, and everybody dresses to their nines, and everyone talks about it, and it's a great tradition we have here at Palm Springs North. Moving on, population and characteristics. The demographics of Miami-Dade Local School District we are the 3rd largest school district in the nation. We just surpassed Chicago during the pandemic because people are flocking away from cities and moving south. We have 128 high schools, 226 middle schools, 304 elementary schools, 228 preschools, 334,261 students, and our enrollment is 49% female, 51% male. And then here's our enrollment by diversity. As you can see, we have 72.7% Hispanic and Latinos. Down here is the enrollment of race and ethnicity in Palm Springs North. Like I said, we're a high Cuban Hispanic population, and we are at about 900, and everybody else there is kind of in the minority. Here is how my district is divided from the north. This is where I'm located in the city, kind of where my school is, the north area, the central area, and the south area. That's kind of how our district is divided. Communication channels. We have NBC 6 and WPLG Local 10. They are our main sources of news in the city, and they kind of are very aggressive in the media, especially with county schools, the Miami-Dade public county schools. So it's an interesting way, but it is definitely number one. The school district is talked about constantly, and issues are talked about all the time. So it's very it's entertaining, and you're always in the loop. 91.3 FM WLRN is the licensed school board radio station for Miami-Dade County, and that is where you can get the information as pertains to if there's a hurricane or any kind of natural disaster, and people listen into that a lot. District Portal, Dade School TV, which is a kind of like a news service for every school to broadcast. They're kind of like a morning announcements on. We have the superintendent's Twitter that everybody around follows, and you kind of are in the loop with him and the rest of the district when you follow him. Facebook pages of our school and the district is all up. Instagram, the Miami Hero covers us, the Miami Laker. I put an asterisk next to pre-recorded telephone calls and voicemails because we get these the most, probably 4 to 5 a week, getting the message out there to parents and staff members about exactly what's going on and what to expect. Mass text messaging, parent emails, and district newsletters are also forms of the channeling that we use. Here are some community groups. This is a lot different because each school has their own sponsors, and like I told you of the vast amount of schools there are, they all have different sponsors. So this is kind of my schools. PSN PTA, Boys and Girls Club of America, Children's Home Society of Florida, the Children's Trust. There's a lot of art sponsors here. PTSA, the Roadrunners Club, and Dance Club is also... Roadrunners is a great community group, as well as Dance Club, that a lot of my students participate in. And here is our leadership and political structure. The chain of command kind of goes as follows. Governor Ron DeSantis, Superintendent Jose Dotris, the school board, Miami Mayor, and the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Miami-Dade City Council. And I'll kind of go into a little bit more of that as the presentation goes along. Here are economic conditions. Miami is booming. The Florida housing market is just going crazy. The economic shift during COVID-19, everybody from California and New York, if they can afford to, are moving down here, working online. Just all the condos and properties have just extremely went up in value. Last year, it went up 24.9%. There's also no state income tax here, so we are getting people coming in all the time, new students coming all the time. New companies are coming. Wells Fargo is like the biggest economic company that has their headquarters here in Miami, along with Oracle Plantar. And the biggest tragedy we had was lately was the condo collapse there in North Miami Beach, just south of Sunny Isles. I actually live about 5 blocks from where that condo actually did collapse, and I was actually there and there the next morning, and it was catastrophic. Our city recovered well, and everybody gave their time and to go on went up, and everything is clean, and it's just like an empty lot now, and it's already been sold for $120 million. So the process of recovering went by fast. Social tensions. There are tons of social tensions in Miami. It starts off right when you get in the car in the morning. There is so much traffic, and everybody is always just in a rush to get everywhere, and it creates this kind of cutthroat culture, and the tensions just kind of arise from there. We have political intention, private school versus public school versus charter. They're all trying to went over students. So there's all sorts of divisions there. Obviously, racial tensions, just like in every culture. But there are so many different races and ethnicities. It's hard for everyone to kind of understand each other. Woke activism is huge right now, which is what Ron DeSantis has been talking about in legislation lately. Issues of transgender youth, vax versus anti-vax, tensions because of pandemic affairs, gun violence, drugs, fentanyl. The list goes on and on. Previous community efforts in Palm Springs North, we have the Carnival Cruise Line, which is built nearby, the Florida Lottery District Office, which is nearby. We have recently, within the past decade, had a couple country clubs built. There's one in the north and one in the south. There's Norman and Jean Reach Park nearby, Palm Springs North, as well as Veterans Park, PSN Park, and Royals Oak Park. The power structure goes as follows. I kind of briefly touched on this. Governor Ron DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor Janet Nunez, Commissioner of Education Richard Cochran, and Superintendent Jose Dotres, Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, the school board, and then the building principals. Here are kind of the map of the multicultural issues that I'm going to kind of lay out. This just kind of helps you understand that Miami is very segregated. As you can see here, the Hispanic population is represented in orange, and they live in this area kind of separate from where all the African American people live, right in here in the middle. And then mostly these areas right here are condos or where people who have money live right over on this side. So it's like every single corporation and neighborhood is divided by race, which is extremely kind of toxic. Some more multicultural issues that come up are the language barrier. We have a ton of ESOL students. I would say it's almost like 15%. We have a great ESOL program where a lot of us speak Spanish and can help them learn. And I am able to communicate in my classes via pointing and aesthetically doing things and in other ways. It's very easy. Here is a copy of our mission statement right here about the issues that we are addressing, and here is kind of our motto and public opinion. COVID brought out everyone's opinions, honestly. We're all different. News media outlets had different stations take different sides on different issues, trying to pin us against each other, but most people are just happy to bring their child to school. And there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of stress, and it's just good for everyone to know that mental health and counseling is out there. So I kind of try to push that. And from weaknesses to strengths, which of the slides had the fewest bullets and why? Well, the slides that had the fewest bullet points simply didn't just apply to my district. With my district being so large and diverse, my answers were a lot different from peers. Things here are just not the same as they are in the rest of the United States. The state of Florida does education a little differently. And from the rest of the U.S., that is why I have fewer bullet points on some slides. Also, I did not try to make up for this by sharing as much as I could about my home elementary school. So I did do that as best I could. I hope that I infused both accordingly and efficiently to each prompt. So how would I turn these weaknesses into strengths? Well, the only way that we can do this is if more people are just self-aware of themselves. This requires honest self-reflection and willingness to identify areas where you may struggle or need to improve. We also need to accept that everyone struggles and everyone has problems. If we set goals to better our weakness, this will flip the script and help us strive to reach our goal as a community. Thank you, everybody, And here are my references. You have incredible rest of your summer. Looking forward to learning with you all. Thanks.